Hi everyone, Claudia here from LightingClarity. Today I wanted to talk about some topics of interest. I'm going to talk about your spirit guides. I'm going to speak about the Archangels. I'm also going to talk a little further about the Lords of Karma and how you can work with them, and past lives. So I'm going to give you the experiences that I have had, what it is that I teach, the way in which I teach and the way in which I see. And look, every clairvoyant will see things a little differently because we've all got different gifts, different abilities to see further or shorter or in different ways. So I'm going to give you the benefit of what I know about my own spirit guides. I connect with my spirit guides all the time. So I'm going to talk about spirit guides to start with. Okay. So we're all born with about 4 to 5 master guides. You might have more than that, you may have less than that. These master guides are guides that you would have put in place before starting your incarnation that you're currently in, the lifetime that you're in. So you would have decided upon, we'll say 4 to 5 master guides, knowing that they had the expertise that you needed to assist you in the lifetime that you're embarking on. So you've come into this lifetime with some themes and cycles that you need to break, contracts with other people, which is something I will discuss next week, contracts with other people that you need to move through, that you didn't move through in previous lifetimes, life lessons you both came back to learn. So you would have chosen your spirit guides based on their abilities and skills to help you with the theme of the lifetime that you were embarking into. So nothing really is predetermined. Some things are from the point of view of certain life lessons at certain points along your timeline you wanted to experience. So you and your soul would have decided upon those points and what they would be, yourself and your higher self. I'm going to discuss higher self as well next week. If I get to do it now, I will. But so you would have chosen with their skills and abilities. Those spirit guides are with you from birth until death. Now you can have up to about 20 spirit guides, for example, working with you. Those extra guides would come in during certain phases of your life that you are moving through, depending what it is that you're moving through. They will come forward with their skills and abilities to help you. Once you move through that phase of your life, or those life lessons, for example, they step back and another lot step forward to assist you and be with you. So, and they assist you through the next leg of life lessons or whatever it is you're moving through. You can have working guides and you have your loving guides. So your working guides are there to help you get things moving in your life, and sometimes they are working with you more prominently than the other spirit guides because they're assisting you with getting going. They're the ones putting the steps in front of you and assisting you and pushing you forward. Then you've got your loving guides that are there to give you advice and help you on an emotional level. I work with quite closely with 4 of my master guides. I have other guides that step in and step out, depending what I'm working through. I see that with my clients as well. So what else did I want to say? So your spirit guides cannot intervene without you asking for their direct help on a particular topic. They help you on the outer edges. They try and keep you on track, but they cannot directly help you with a specific thing. You need to give them permission. The reason is because we have free will. All right. So the way in which you can do this, I always call upon. So I always say, I now call upon my most highest loving spiritual guides of the light. I always say of the light at the end. Now I tend to call them by name, but I will say Martha, for example, is one of my guides. I will say I call upon my most highest loving spiritual guide of the light, Martha, to please come in and to please be here with me now, and she'll step in. Depending, I could be calling upon Great Bear, I could be calling upon Sarah, I could be calling upon, I call him Lurch, that's my nickname for him. It depends. So it depends what I'm going through, I'm calling them in. So if I'm needing emotional assistance, I'll call upon Martha. If I'm needing to get going or there's more, I will call upon Lurch. So if I need more balance, I'll call upon Sarah. Because I've worked with my spirit guides quite closely, I know the way in which they work with me. I know how it is that they help me. So you yourself can just say in general, I call upon my most highest loving spiritual guides of the light. You say it out loud to please come in and to please be here with me now in my lounge room. And you're standing on your feet or you're sitting down and they will come in. And you can speak out loud and you can say, I need help with the fact I'm going to court. I need help with whatever this is to do with. The fact that I need some assistance to do with my health. I don't know which doctor to go with. You need to be specific about the problem. You say, I need you to come and help me with this particular problem. You give them what the issue is. Now, once you've given it to them, your job is to look for the signs on the outside. You don't keep opening the oven to see if the bread is baking. You've got to allow them to take time to assist you. If you're needing it to be urgent, you can simply say, I actually need you to speed this up because I'm due to be in court next week, or whatever. I'm using the word court. Whatever you want, whatever the issue is. Yeah, finding a man, finding a lady, whatever this is, finding an organisation, you're upset to do with a relationship in your life, talk to them about it, and ask them to work on the one thing that you're needing help with. All right. So once you give that to them, your job is to look for the outside, the signs on the outside as you move along your life. So it could be a billboard. You go, aha, I'm going to ring that organisation. I think they can help me. Or you're doing the dishes, and an idea comes to you, you think, oh, hang on, didn't such and such a sister-in-law go through this? I'm going to find out who she used. Or a book falls off the shelf. That's such a cliche. You will find the signs will come to you. The help will come in and assist you. All right. So that's just to give you a tool with using and working with your spirit guides. So depending on where your energy is personally and emotionally, different types of guides will be your main connection. So you'll find one spirit guide works with you for a period of time longer than another one, and they step back and another one steps in. Okay, so the other thing I want to make very clear that your spirit guides are very practical in their advice. They would never say divorce your spouse, sell your house and move interstate. They're never going to tell you directly what to do because we have free will and it is our decision to make. They are there to give you the options. They are there to assist you, put you on the road, assist you so that you could come to the decision you need to make. All right. They are, because they've lived lives here on earth, they're very practical in their assistance. I mean, one of the things I've said to people when I've taught Clairvoyant 1 and 2, work with specific guides for a while. So you might choose to work with your spirit guides for a while and see how that affects your life and how they're assisting you. And then you might work with the Archangelic realm and see how they work in your life and see how that assists you. And then you might work with the Ascended Masters and how they help you in your life. And you'll notice the differences. They're subtle, sometimes they're bigger, sometimes they're subtle. You'll know who you feel more comfortable working with and who you want to go to. Like, I will go to different ones depending what's going on in my life. There are times I'll go to Archangel Michael. There are times I will go to my spirit guide Martha. There are times I will talk to Master Merlin or Master Omora, or I'll go to whoever it is, whatever this is about. So it's just good to see how they help you and who's more effective at what stage over what situation. I'm going to talk some more about speaking to the archangels as well. So all right, so your guiding team was chosen by you as your spirit self prior to coming to Earth. The major points on your path were agreed upon. You made agreements with your soulmates about who would appear when, the major lessons you wanted to learn, and the other side of the coin you wanted to experience. So there were, however, a lot of paths that were free will based and a lot of things that were left to chance. The guiding team that was put together was based on helping you work out what challenges you would face, how likely you would overcome them, what would arise. Some of those are your major life themes, your major wound cleared, your biggest challenges, your biggest success from Spirit's point of view. I read last year, beginning of last year, I had to come to a resolution over something. There was something that I had to really let go of more than I ever had and put it to the side. It was something that was very, very important to me. And it took all of my emotional, I don't know what the word is, but just coming to that point and just growing within myself, knowing that I had to let go of this particular thing. And from my higher self's point of view, that was a big success, she said. you know, and I was driving to my mother's actually, and I had my higher self come in, I had my two spirit guides come in, and they were applauding me, and they said, "You've done very well. We know this has been quite a difficult thing for you to let go of. We know that you've been through a lot with this. We are applauding you." Even though it was still hurting, even though it still hurts today, they could see the benefits of me letting this particular thing go within my own life on an emotional basis, on a healthy emotional basis. That was the best thing for me, and I had to do it, whether I liked it or not. But I knew deep within myself that this was the better road, that I was taking a different road from the road I was on. So they came in with that, and I said to them, you know, I put my head on their shoulders quite basically, and I said, you know, this is still hurting, but I do recognise what you're all saying, and thank you for coming in and letting me know that, you know, I'm doing better than I think I am. And I already knew that I had triumphed. I already knew that. So, you know, we're here to grow. One of the things I often say when I'm doing public speaking at libraries and when I'm doing public speaking at psychic fairs is there are many souls backed up waiting for a spot here on earth. You might have heard me say this before. There are many souls backed up waiting for a place here on earth, just as we all were. We choose to come to earth time and time again because we know that on a spiritual level, we're going to grow the fastest here on earth than any other realm is going to award us. When we leave the earth, because it's one of the most turbulent places, when we leave the earth, our own growth doesn't just stop here because we've left and gone home to heaven. There are many courses that you can embark on if you so choose. Nobody's forced to incarnate. What happens is that they lay out what the growth is, and sooner or later we all want to grow because we all come back. You came back to earth. Every single one of you watching this video, everyone you talk to today and tomorrow, they're all here by choice, including those people who are sitting where they're sitting, whatever it is they're going through in their life. They're here by choice. We all chose to come here to learn and to grow, and we chose earth knowing that it was the most turbulent place, one of the most difficult realms to incarnate on, and we were going to grow the fastest here than any other realm would award us. And that's why we choose to come. Not everyone's been here many times. I'm going to talk about past lives shortly. But you've all definitely been here. Some of us have been in other realms, and that's why it's difficult being here on earth. That's why sometimes it feels so difficult being in the energies of other people around us as well, because we're so sensitive to what happens on the news. We're so sensitive to what we're hearing and feeling and seeing that to us, some of us, it's just not logical. And you feel like you've been dropped here on earth and you're looking around going, this is a whole different ballgame than what I thought it was going to be. A lot of people have lived lives, galactic lives, lives on other realms, and you haven't been to earth as often or as much. A lot of us have been here many, many times. A lot of us have been here many, many times. All right. So, I'm going to talk about the Archangels. I'm just going to have a quick drink. The Archangels help more on an emotional level, as well as with the projects you need help with. So, each family has a family angel. I taught this in my clairvoyance classes. Each family has a family angel. So yourself, your partner, and your kids, you have a family angel. Yourself, your parents, and your siblings, you have a family angel, no matter how old we are. You can ask that family angel to assist you with whatever family problems are going on in your life, to do with perhaps your children getting along better, to do with the family life being a lot more harmonious, to do with your adult children, for example, and the in-laws that come in. You can talk to your family angel and ask for their help, and they will assist you. Okay. Angels also operate in groups. So you've got your career angels, you've got job angels, you've got all of that. You can call upon Archangel Michael of the Light. Now, Archangel Michael is one of the most easiest angels to feel and hear because he's one of the most, strongest energies. Archangel Michael's known traditionally as the protection angel. Archangel Michael's not just a protection angel. He's also the life purpose angel. He assists with your life purpose. He helps me get a car park. He helps me in every regard. I ask for his help. But you can call upon Archangel Michael and ask him to assemble groups of angels that can assist you with finding a job, for example. You can say, Archangel Michael, can you please bring together a group of angels from the light that can assist me and help me find a new job, a new career, a new house, I need to hurry up because my rent is finishing here, or I've sold my house and I need to find another place, a temporary accommodation, whatever. And he will bring those groups of angels to assist. You can ask for angels to help with your health, emotional health, physical health, mental health, with moving you forward, and he will assemble those angels up to assist you. If you do not ask for help, help is not given as effectively as if you ask. They do help you, but it's more effective when you ask and you give permission for them to come in and to help you. Now, you will remember instances where people said, it was an angel that helped me, and they were sitting in the car. Sometimes that intervention will definitely come in because it's not your time to go, or that's not an experience you're meant to have, or whatever this is to do with, they will intervene. Absolutely. But if you've got things going on in your life and you're needing help, I would call upon them to assist as well. All right. So your guardian angels, we all have a guardian angel. I see around 1 to 2 guardian angels around my clients and around myself. Some clairvoyants can see up to 8 guardian angels around somebody. I don't know why there'd be 8, but some people do. Now, your guardian angel has been with you since you started your career incarnating. So they've been with you through each lifetime, and they're with you from the moment your birth through to when you pass. Your guardian angel stands behind you with their arms like this. When I'm driving, my guardian angel, she's around me like this, and sometimes she puts her arms around me, or depending what's going on. Your guardian angel is interested in your life right now and what you're moving through right now and in the next 6 months to come. All right, because they know that what you do right now goes into your aura and goes down your timeline, and you bring that in. So I'll give you another tip. If you don't like what's going on in your life, start looking about what's here. What is it that you believe about yourself? Are you valuing yourself? Because what you believe about yourself here goes out in your aura and goes down your timeline and comes back to you. People can sense whether they can push you around or not. People can sense whether to go near you that day or not. I mean, years ago I worked in a place many years ago. Gosh, what am I now? Maybe 20 years ago, no, even longer than that. Over 20 years ago, 25 years ago, something like that. I worked for people, and they were very intimidating people. And they used to bully the other ladies that I worked with. And I used to walk in with an aura about me. In my aura, I used to place, don't even think about it around me. Don't come at me. Don't bully me. Don't think about me. And I would walk into the place like that. I made more mistakes than everyone else did in the office, I can assure you, because I was new and I was... No, even then, even when I wasn't new, I made a lot of mistakes. They didn't, those girls. They were pretty good. I made a lot more mistakes than they did. But they never came at me, the bosses that were above us. They didn't come at me. They would simply tell me I made a mistake, but they didn't roar at me and they didn't come at me in an aggressive manner. They did with the others. And I'd been there a while too. It hadn't just been because I was the new girl. I had been there a long time. And it's because I walked in there with the aura of don't even think about it. And often when those girls were roared at, I wasn't on that shift. But when I did walk in, they'd tell me all about it. Because I had decided that if you do it in front of me, I will be standing up for my colleagues. Because it sort of looked a little bit almost like a domestic between the girls and a couple of the bosses that were male. Okay? And I wasn't about to allow that to happen. And I was ready to stand up and stand between them and say, just a minute now. Just a minute. Anyway, that's another story. So my point is, you've heard what I've said about the aura. All right, so archangels are easy for anyone to connect with as they can infiltrate our auric energy. And as I said, Archangel Michael is the easiest angel to connect with. I'm talking about guardian angels. So I think I made my point that they're with you, that they're interested in your life right now because what you do right now creates your timeline, yeah? And they do assist you. So you can also talk to your guardian angel about any help that you're needing. They love you very much. They love you very much and they know you very well. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to give you some ideas with the different archangels and how they help. So you can call upon Archangel Jeremiah when you're moving through a difficult change. Zadkiel is the archangel that helps with flushing out your ear chakras, your clairaudience, and also helps with manifestation. Ariel is for courage. Gabriel for communication. I always call upon Archangel Gabriel to help me articulate what it is that I need to say. Michael for truth or life purpose. Raziel for clairvoyance. Ragul for justice and agreements. Jephiel for self-esteem. Haniel. Archangel Haniel is really good to work with when you're moving through any emotional issues. She will come in and she will assist you. So I often see Archangel Haniel around my clients when she comes in. I go, oh, okay, I know what this is going to be about. I know this is going to be an emotional reading for my client. They're coming in with some emotional issues. So Haniel will work with them. She's also the Archangel of clairvoyance, and I also get her to work with my clients as well, those who are studying with me, clairvoyance too. Archangel Shamuel. Archangel Shamuel is the Archangel of love and relationships. Now, I'm going to give you a story. Archangel Shamuel's life, love and relationships, so and of life direction. Archangel Shamuel is as well. The Archangel of love, relationships, and life direction. So you can ask her to assist you with that. Now, I'm going to give you one of my stories. Archangel, when you ask for their help, they do come in and they do give this. I had a particular issue, particular thing that happened to me years ago. I had to go and confront someone over something, and it was a very difficult thing for me to go and do because of the nature of who they were and what position they held in my life. So I knew that what had occurred between us was affecting me, and it had affected me for maybe 3 to 4 years after the event. And I went over and I had a chat with them. And I knew how it was going to go. I'm clairvoyant, I could see. I looked before I went. I went, okay. And of course it didn't go well, but I said my bit, and that's all I was there for. I wasn't there for any apologies. I wasn't there to this and that. I was there just to say my bit, and I said it, and I left. Of course, they cried wolf, they poker face on. It's fine, I don't care. I went and did what I had to go and do. And I left feeling better, and there was a weight lifted off my shoulders. Now, when I got home, of course, I was, the weight had lifted, but I was quite upset because this is someone that I had to interact with. It wasn't someone that I could walk away from, okay? So it was a family member. So I said to Spirit, I've gone and done this. I actually need you now to smooth this over because I know that they're not going to let this go. I know the sort of person they are. And I really need your help because I don't want to go over this again. I had to say what I had to say, whether they liked it or not. And I said, I really need you to assist me here because I wasn't supported by other family members with standing up. I was left on my own with this. So after I sat in a lounge and I'd spoken to my spirit guides and out loud, the archangels out loud, God out loud, in the corner, I was prompted after about a moment to look up into the corner of the room. And in the corner of the room, the size of the moon, there was a massive pink orb. And it was the middle of the day. And I knew instantly, I was quite stunned, instantly that this was Archangel Shamuel. And Archangel Shamuel is the Archangel of love and relationships. And they were letting me know, we will smooth this out, everything will be all right. Miraculously so, it was smoothed out very fast. Nothing was said again about it from that person, which was quite a miracle, I can assure you. A big miracle. And I said, thank you. And I knew it was going to be okay. I knew that they were going to work with their holy team. There's the other tip I want to give you. So you can ask your spirit guides to work with the spirit guides of someone else. So if you're having an emotional problem, a relationship problem with someone, you can ask your spirit guides to speak to their spirit guides to assist with helping you both to talk to one another, so then you can get this out. Okay, so I've often done that. I had a situation years ago where a friend misunderstood me, and I sent an email. She completely misunderstood me because she couldn't hear my tone. She just read the words, and she was going through a hard time, and she was like, that's it. Yep, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. And I said, no, hang on, just get on Zoom with me or Skype, whatever it was back in those days, Zoom, Skype, I think it was. I said, get on with me. I want to talk to you. This is ridiculous. No, she blocked me, blah, blah, blah. And I got very upset. And Archangel Michael came in and so did my other spirit guide, Lurch. And they both said, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I said, how is this going to be okay? She won't even talk to me. She won't even let me explain what I was meaning. And I said, right. I said, Lurch, it's my spirit guide. I want you to get the spirit guides to go and speak to her spirit guides and get her to start talking to me so I can clear this up. And, you know, and I had Archangel Michael there, and I said, I need you to go and start speaking to her as well. My friend was a clairvoyant. Okay. So after about 2 days, I get an email from her, and she says, my spirit guides are telling me to talk to you. I don't know why, but they are. I feel her folding her arms, as saying, you don't deserve it. I got on, I went, thank you. I said, they're just amazing. I'll type back, hop on Skype, please. I want to talk to you. And she did get on, and we did talk about it. So, and I had another instance with another friend. She was having difficulties with her husband. Her husband had retired and wasn't used to retiring. He was in his late 60s, and she herself's a senior, a dear friend of mine. She's a clairvoyant too. She says, you know, I don't know how to handle him anymore. He's, you know, wanted her to resign from her job. And she was running a business like I do as a clairvoyant. She says, I know you've retired, love, but I haven't. I like my work, and I'm going to continue doing it. Because he was bored. He wanted her to be the entertainment. She said, no, go and find a hobby. And he didn't have one. He just had his job, his wife, and that was it. His adult children, you know, who had moved out. She says, I don't know how to handle him. He's carrying on at me. And I said, ask your spirit guides to speak to his spirit guide to get him to calm down, so then you can speak and for him to be more reasonable with you. So her spirit guide spoke to his spirit guides, got him to calm down. So then he said, so she said I met her about 4 days later. She said, that worked like a charm. She said, all of a sudden he stopped, he sat down, he's actually listening to what I'm saying. Because before he wasn't even giving her a chance to talk, he was raising his voice. And she wasn't used to that, and it was a consistent raising of the voice at her. And she's like, what on earth's happened to you? You've retired and you've turned into a you-know-what. And and he actually started saying, okay, I hear your point of view. He said to her, that's fine. She says, I'll cut back on my clients. I'll cut back on my days. I won't work 5 days. I'll work 2 to 3. And those other days we'll go out together. He said, no, that's fine. So they came up with balance. Okay. So, and she said, well, that worked. I said, yes, it does. So that's a tip I'll give you. You can also ask your guardian angels to speak to their guardian angels. Yeah. You can ask the whole lot to help out. Call upon your guardian angels, speak to their guardian angels, call upon your spirit guides, speak to their spirit guides, and say what you need help with. And so, look, I need them to start talking to me so I can resolve this, or actually get them to stop talking so they can listen to what I'm saying. Ask them to be receptive to what I'm saying or listening, and then we can come up with some sort of resolution here. So, finishing off on archangels. Now, before you started your career incarnating, you would have studied under an archangel. Now, the archangel you would have studied under would have taught you the skills and abilities you have currently now, and that you would have brought with you through each incarnation that you have ever been in. And that particular archangel is with you through each incarnation. So I'm going to give you an example. I've got them all written down here. So, do I have them written down here? Hang on. Yes, I do. Excuse me while I shuffle my paperwork. So if you studied under, for example, so this is to do with you studying under an archangel before even ever incarnating in any lifetime, on any realm, on any of that. That's what I'm talking about. So you may have studied under, for example, Archangel Uriel. Archangel Uriel people are protective earth mothers, providers. They're people who are family focused, connected to the earth, and they often sometimes have issues with working through self-esteem. If you studied under Archangel Michael, those sort of people are truth. They're about truth, loyalty, strength. They have high levels of clairvoyance, very honest and protective people as well. If you studied under Archangel Gabriel, you are a natural communicator. You are a channeler. You are a teacher. I studied under Archangel Gabriel. No surprises there. And I studied under Archangel Michael as well. So you can study under more than 2. So just to give you an idea of really what you might recognise within yourself. If you studied under Archangel Raphael, they are natural healers. You have natural healing abilities as well. And, you know, everyone has their own, everybody has their own, how do I say this? You've got your own challenges. You've come in with your own, you came here to grow and learn. You've got your own challenges that come with that. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So moving forward. Oh yes, that's everything I want to talk about. So our aura contains a massive library to do with when you're reading someone's aura. Okay, your aura contains many libraries. So you've got your past lives are stored in your aura, or your thoughts and feelings are stored in your aura. You've got your abundance layer, so you've got your astral layer, you've got, I think, your emotional layer, your mental layer, your relationship layer, where all your contracts are. Then it goes forward, and you've got life purpose. Then I think you've got the archangels and your guides standing in other layers. There's many layers. People can have up to 7 to 8 layers of the aura. Some people have up to 10. When they've got up to 10, it's difficult to be here on earth because you're so connected to God and divinity. I don't go too much into all that. I know that when I'm looking at someone, I read into their aura, I go, okay, I can see this, I can see that, and I don't analyze it. I just help the client in that moment in the healing or in the reading. Okay, so how do I explain this? So what you have learned through every lifetime, all the skills and abilities that you have accumulated and learned on the emotional level, you bring those skills and abilities as a gift into each lifetime. So, for example, you may have been a seer or a wise person or a medicine person or an elder in other lifetimes many times. And you bring the teachings of wisdom in this lifetime. So you may find yourself to be quite a reverent person. You seem to hold a lot of wisdom. You don't know why, but people seem to feel very calm around you and very relaxed, and they tend to seek out your counsel. And you're thinking, look, all I do is, I do this for a living. I'm not a counselor, but I seem to have this about me. There's a reference about you, yeah? You may also, in past lifetimes, been a peacekeeper, a healer, and you bring those healing abilities into this lifetime. And I see that with many clients. You may have been a person that was of royalty in past lives, or a person of high standards or principles, and you may have been in the priesthood or been a council member of some kind, or an elder, and you were about teaching. And in this lifetime, once again, you bring your wisdom with you. You bring your ability to be able to be grounded and see things for what they are, be practical in how you step forward. And that brings me up to the next one. So you may have been someone who worked on a planet. You may have had a practical, labour-intensive role in some way. And your roles were about practicality. So you bring that practicality here on Earth, as we just said before. And I could just go on and on. I'm just saying, and that's that. So you bring with you these different life lessons that you have learnt from, and you bring those skills, the ability to, for example, to be calm in a stressful situation, the ability to stay calm when everything around you is crumbling, where you can still be logical, you can still focus, and you're just going one foot in front of the other, yeah? And that's because you've led lifetimes where you've had to stay calm under pressure, and you've learned how to do that many times, and you've brought that ability here. So you may notice within yourselves and think about what gift you have brought in for yourself, what gifts that you have brought in that you notice that you have that perhaps others perhaps do not. And you think, oh, I've got this knack for this, or I'm able to handle this particular. I don't know why I'm not so stressed as everyone else when this is occurring, but I just seem to be able to be calm under pressure, or whatever it is. It's just an example I'm giving. Okay, so I'm going to read this out. So when I'm doing healing for a client, sometimes I'm led to go up and talk to the Council of Karma. The Council of Karma are not scary people. They're very loving people. They are a group of ascended masters. So often when I go up on behalf of a client, often who is seated at the table is about 4 to 5 masters, ascended masters that are seated there. I'm greeted by one ascended master. His name is Malachi, and he steps forward to listen to what it is that I'm coming in for, to help petition for the client that is going through an emotional issue. So it could be that you've got a pattern that you just cannot break. There is a life cycle that keeps repeating, and you're at the end of your tether with this, and you just can't understand why this keeps going. Or you've got, how can I say this? You've learned all that you can possibly learn. You brought yourself up to the line as far as you can, and you're needing that assistance to push yourself across. And I'm coming up to ask for this help. So the laws of karma, when I go up, can be made up of Master Omura, Lady Nada. It could be Lady Kuan Yin sitting there. It could be whoever is there. I notice they're there. We greet each other. It interchanges who sits there, but Malachi's the one that comes up to greet me. So they're there to assist you if you need a reprieve, and also to do with your contracts with others when you've had enough with a relationship and you're needing some understanding. So what's going to happen is they're either going to speed up the life lesson, so get ready for that and hold on to your chair so then you can move through it faster, or they're going to take it out of your hands because you've brought yourself as far as you can, and they're saying, okay, she's ready or he is ready to have this cleared. So I'm going to explain this a little bit more clearly. So you would give them, I'd be going up there to give them your past and present life emotional balances, heart life patterns, fears and pains you're ready to let go of. And they would say, and there's also to do with old lifetime beliefs that you are still carrying that are affecting you in this lifetime, wounds, fears, trauma, old vows that you're ready to let go of, that you're thinking that I can see is blocking you at the moment, the Spirit is saying is blocking you. So this is going to allow your heart timeline to shift onto a higher vibrational frequency that you are ready to spiritually, emotionally, physically, and mentally experience, moving you forward. Okay? So, is there any better that I can explain this? So I would go up looking at if a client has come to me and I can see their heart is blocked. We look at why, and we go up to Laws of Karma and we ask for this assistance with these particular issues that you would have. So it's emotional issues not dealt with that are absorbed in your energy field that are creating imbalances and any blocks. And I ask them what we need to know about these imbalances, and I ask, is it possible for them to be brought to completion? Now, they will say to me, we will take this away, we will look at these 3 things, but the 4th thing you've asked for, they're going to have to keep moving through that. They're still not learning, they're not still far enough along in that life lesson, they still haven't learned it, they still need to complete it. And they're just making me remember as I sit here, they're saying that they talk to your soul about these, what it is that you're asking for assistance with, what it is that you're asking to bring to completion. They will speak to your soul about that. So whenever you ask anything of your holy teams, assistance with, whatever this is to do with your spirit guides, the Archangels, the Lords of Karma, the Ascended Masters, they will speak to your higher self. Your higher self is head honcho. And they will ask your higher self if this is an experience you're meant to have. And if your higher self says yes, then that's an experience that you will have. If your higher self says no, or whatever this is, they will ask your higher self what they can do here. Okay, because, and as I said, I'll be talking about the higher self in the next session because I'll be going for too long. But your higher self, you are a fractal of your higher self. When you grow, your higher self grows. But I'm going to talk about the higher self next week. All right, so okay, so I was going to talk about myself for a moment. There was a life issue that I went through, a life lesson that I went through recently, earlier in the year. And I had been going through this life lesson for about 4 or 5 years. And I said, you know what, I have brought myself as far as I can. I said to the Lords of Karma, I now need you to assist me and I need you to bring me further. I need you to help me cross the line. I've come up to the line, but I can't seem to step over it. And I've brought myself as far as I can, and I can't go further. And I knew I was at the end of the life lesson, but I still wasn't able to move through it and move past it and move over it and step over that line. And they said, all right, we will assist you, they said, in moving through it. Now, it took about 3 to 4 days later, it was very fast. I woke up and there was a massive shift within me. And I knew with that massive shift that they had assisted me. And I said to them, what's happened here? What has happened? And they said to me, it was requested that your higher self merge with you. And I said, so when my higher self merged with me, I'm now looking at the situation through the eyes of my higher self. I'm now looking at that life lesson through the eyes of my higher self, which meant I had a realization, an aha moment, and the energy had shifted within me. Okay, so I had moved myself onto a higher vibration, a higher timeline, whatever you want to call it. I had done that because my higher self had merged with me. That pushed me over the line, and I had moved through that particular life lesson, and I wasn't as emotionally attached to it. It had moved over. It had moved on. I had moved on. Okay, so I'm just giving you an example. All right, so don't want to go for too long. See if there's anything else. Okay, the final one I'm going to talk about, and some of the things I will say, you can also ask for a dispensation from God to assist you. You can also ask for law of attraction healing. So this law of attraction healing is used if someone has gone off their path and you're experiencing a run of bad luck, and it's nothing to do with any lessons that you haven't learned. You're like, what is this? Why is this all happening? Everything was going on smoothly, and all of a sudden all this is happening, and you feel out of kilter. You can ask for law of attraction healing from God and ask for the assistance. Now, I do this with clients as well in sessions. So I'm just briefly talking about that. I'm not going to go into it too much. So the last thing I want to talk about is past lives. Have a quick drink. So I'm always one to say to people, you don't delve into your past lives for fun. Past lives isn't about delving in for fun. You delve into a past life because you're experiencing, let's say, depression, and you can't understand why you've always had depression within you. So if you've had recurring patterns that are just, that are just irrational, anxiety, depression, health, fears that are irrational, and you just can't understand why you feel as you do. So when I'm doing a reading for a client, I'll be guided as to why they're going through what they're going through. My team will say it's a past life issue. That's why they can't understand why this is going on, why they've always had this within them. It's a pattern they've had. They came in with the pattern. It wasn't born here. It was born in another lifetime. They've come in with it, and it's a past life issue. And we go, okay. So they'll say they're ready to clear it. So if they're ready to clear it, I will inform the client, look, they're saying you're ready to clear it. So I'm going to give an example. I'm going to change the client's name of one of my clients that I did a past life healing for, clearing for. When I'm working with my past life team, my past life team is Merlin, Mary Magdalene, Archangel Michael, and Archangel Raziel and Azrael. They come in as well. And I will call them in and I'll say, whoever it is that I'm channeling has said that this is what this is. So I'll give an example. I had a client come to me many years ago. I'm going to give a client that's from years ago. I don't want to give any recent clients. Someone from years ago. So, because the recent clients will recognise themselves, and I'm not going to do that. So from years ago, many years ago it was, and I'm actually being honest. I'm going to call her Jenny, for example. So Jenny said, she came to me and she had studied tarot. And she said to me, I'm studying the tarot, I've completed my course, and, it's been months since I've completed the course. And I've put my ad out, I've done my website, I've put my ad out, and I've had no clients. And it's been X amount of months. Because it was years ago, I can't remember how many months it's been. 6 months, 3 months, whatever. And she said, I've had no clients, and I don't understand why. And I said to the client, okay, well, I'll ask. Whoever I was channeling was there, and I asked, I explained. And whoever it was, be it one of her spirit guides I was channeling or the Archangel, they said, she's afraid of being seen. And I said to them, what? Are you sure? And they said, yes, she's afraid of being seen. I opened my eyes and I said to Jenny, they're saying that you're afraid of being seen. And she twisted in her chair side to side and she said, yes. And I sat back a bit stunned. I thought, you can't be afraid of being seen when you're advertising your business. You have to be seen in order to get clients. Whatever line of work one is in, you cannot be afraid. And I said, I'm going to find out why. And I asked them and they said it's a past life situation and she's ready to clear it. I opened my eyes and I said to Jenny, it's a past life situation and you're ready to clear this. Are you happy to do this? Because they're asking for us to do this right now. And she said, yes, please. So I closed my eyes. So the way in which they show me is that I will say, I'll call in my past life team and I explained the situation. They said, yep, not a problem. And I said, can I ask how many lifetimes this client has experienced fear of being seen? And they said, they gave me the number. And I said, okay, can you actually take me to the original lifetime where it was born? Because this is where we need to go to. And they took me to the lifetime and they took me in. And they showed me that it was during the times of the period when they were burning people as witches, accusing women and men, I guess, or women as witches. Now, she wasn't living in the town where they were doing that. She was living further away. However, they were hearing wind of what was going on and how long it was going on for. She didn't practice any witchcraft. She didn't practice clairvoyance. She was just very intuitive, and she worked with herbs. And anyway, one day I saw her. She was walking, and in the village, the small town she lived in, somebody said, "You're a witch. Look what you do." And they all started accusing her. She wasn't put on trial. It was just a day that had happened where people were pointing. And it was enough, these one or two people that said that to her face that day where she was, wherever she was going, I can't remember the particulars, it was enough to scare the living daylights out of her. And it would be on anyone, especially when you were hearing afar that they were doing this. And she herself in that lifetime knew that she was quite perceptive. She was able to feel things. But of course, she didn't practice that. She never would do that. She was a lady with a bonnet and, went about her life and did things. But it was enough to scare the living daylights out of her, and she just kept that fear and was very, very careful. It was really awful to see. I really felt for her. And so the team said she's ready to release this, and she did. We sat there. I feel the release in the client. When there's a release of that past life, I feel the release. I know what point you're at, okay? And then they release, and I go, okay, they've said you've released her. I opened my eyes, I felt the relief, and she was crying. And I said, "You all right?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Did you feel the shift?" She said, "I did. That was big." About a month later, she sent me an email. She said, "Claudia," she said, "my business has actually started to pick up. It's actually started to boom. To be honest, I've been inundated with emails from clients." I said, "Brilliant, brilliant." My point is, this is the reason why one would look into your past lives, is to shift something that you are feeling within yourself that is, you don't know why you feel as you do, know why you come in with this irrational fear of whatever, or this health issue, or whatever this is to do with. But I wouldn't release it. I wouldn't bring that up unless Spirit brings it up in a reading or in a healing, saying she's ready to shift this or he's ready to shift this. And I'll say, okay, I always take orders from them. All right, and listen to what's saying. That's what you've come for. You're not come to talk to me, you've come to talk to them. And I'm listening to what they're saying, and we relay that. So that's just my story about past lives. And I think I'm going to leave it there. Next week, I'm going to talk about your higher self. I'm going to talk about in heaven, the working realm in heaven, and where you can go and visit and what's available there, and all of that I work with, that I take my clients through, and that I love working and going up and receiving my own healing. But those stories are for next week. All right, now I'm putting a special out for this February to have a reading. Now, normally my readings are $135 on Zoom, and I go for about an hour and 15 minutes. Just doing a special for February. I'm making them $108, which is a big discount, just to give everybody time to perhaps book in and have a reading before the full year starts. I do all my readings via Zoom. I do them internationally, so it's $108, all done via Zoom. If you're wanting a reading, I'm going to take about five to six people for this. Okay, 6 people max, because of my own workload for February, because I'm running the other course as well. I can take one more person for the course as well. If you're wanting to book in and have the course, look on my Facebook page if you're wanting to do the course that I'll be running, a series of healings. It's very strong. It's going to set you up for the year. We're going to plant some important seeds, and we're going to do a lot of good work in that course. So if you're being called to do it, it means you're ready for it on an energy level and on an emotional level, and it's going to bring in a lot of changes for you, and it's going to put you on a great footing for this year and in the years to come. It's going to assist. All right, everyone. Many warm blessings. It's been lovely to be here with you. I hope you've enjoyed the talk. Please let me know in the comments how you've gone with my talk. Thanks, everybody.